It's 2025 and I am still talking to $30 million B2B businesses and operators that are taking orders through the phone. Inside sales reps are juggling spreadsheets. They're trying to track inventory on Excel files. They're entering orders manually. They're basically operating like it's 2006, and that's somehow considered normal. But here's the thing, that's not normal. It's operational debt. It's delay, it's friction, it's the waste that you have gotten used to. And it will break really, really hard. Now, some owners will push back. They will say things like, we are not an e-commerce company. And trust me, I get it. You built a business on relationships, on referrals, on old school handshakes. That is fine. But your buyer has changed. That procurement guy that ordered from you for 30 years, he's gone. He was replaced by self-service, instant pricing, AI algorithms. And a lot of organizations, a lot of your buyers currently are in this optimization phase. And you are telling me that you simply do not want to adapt to that business market. Your buyers are ready to buy from you without friction. And if your entire infrastructure is not set up for that, you are going to lose. If your website does not offer that kind of an experience, you are invisible. Meanwhile, your competitors are catching up. They are implementing systems, integrations. There are tens of thousands of B2B businesses on platforms like BigCommerce and Shopify with automated pricing, automated quotes, with instant search and filter functionalities, pre- and post-checkout upsells. These companies are not just scaling, they are pulling ahead and they're creating an infrastructure where it will be very difficult for you to catch up. Your buyer has changed. Are you ready to change with them? Let's talk about what your buyers really, really want. And it's not a phone call. It's not a rep that is following up with them. They want to log into a system, see the tiered pricing structure. They want the system to remember their previous orders. They want to be able to filter for the products they're looking for. They want to be able to have a multi-add to cart feature where they don't have to add an item to cart, go back, add an item to cart, especially if they're placing a B2B order with 100, 200 items. They want to request a formal quote for large orders, and they want to check out and pay on their own terms. One click should get them a branded PDF that's ready with all the items and the custom quote that they requested, line items that are taxes, shipping, their discounts, their payment terms, all organized in one document. And when they're ready to buy, they expect to see options like PayPal, credit card, Google Pay, Net30, Net60, Wire, or whatever other options you've promised them. They don't want to call. They don't want to speak to a rep. They don't want you to upsell. They just want this process to be efficient. Why else would companies like Uline and Grainger make billions and billions of dollars stealing the business away from 30, 40, $50 million operators like yourself? And these are just common functionalities. Not every buyer should see the same SKUs, same price, same product descriptions. You might have thousands of different B2B buyers, and if John logs in, his price is $20 on a specific product. If Michael logs in, Michael's price is $15 because Michael buys more from you. He has tiered, discounted, bulk pricing options. If they want to repeat an old order, you should make it possible for them where they have reorder feature next to the specific previous order that they placed, so they don't have to, again, add everything back to the cart. The new conversion rate with B2B has to do with efficiency and saving time. And here is the thing, this isn't a wish list, this is the baseline of the functionalities that billion-dollar B2B companies like Uline and Grainger offers their customers. B2B buyers want speed, clarity, and control. This baseline for B2B purchasing is not optional anymore. How is your website stacking up? Let's cut through the bullshit and the fluff. If you want your B2B e-commerce site or operation to scale, you have to pay attention to the functionalities and features that your buyers expect. You need functionality that derives revenue and slashes inefficiencies. We have built over 750 of these custom functionalities for wholesalers, distributors, manufacturers, and there's a reason why we did it. Here are the top 10 functionalities that move the needle every single time. First is the smart quoting engines. You add an item to cart. If the cart value is over a certain amount, let's say $5,000, that's a B2B buyer. You want to pull that conversation offline. And you basically show a button where the buyer can get a quote, and the quote simply is offered to them in a PDF format and they can download easily. And that quote request, by the way, should be directly integrated into your CRM. And what used to take 24 hours, 48 hours now takes 60 seconds. Second is multi-asset add to cart flows, which means if there's a B2B buyer that shows up to your site, they already might know the SKUs or the product codes that they want to order. Give them a feature where they can add 5, 10, 20, 30 items simultaneously to the cart so they don't have to spend 10 minutes adding items. There will be no back and forth. There will be no page reloads. You just make it efficient for your B2B buyer to place that order. Then there is personalized tiered pricing automation. Your site can recognize who logged in, what their past 6 months purchasing is, what kind of agreement you signed with them, what kind of a discount they get, and then you can couple that with personalized payment terms. Maybe John comes and John has a net 30 payment term where Michael might have a net 90 payment term because he's a more important customer for you. What all of this does is it makes your checkout frictionless. There's absolutely no excuse for a B2B buyer not to buy from your website. But we're just getting started. There are certain reorder functionalities, reorder portals that allow your customers to reorder an existing order or to be able to see related products if certain parts are out of stock. So there is different logic that you can apply to the reorder functionality. Account-specific inventory rules could allow you to show different SKUs and different products for different types of buyers. Maybe you want Michael to see these 20 products when he logs in, but you don't want John to see those products. And believe it or not, there are a lot of B2B businesses that want and need this kind of functionality. You might have location-based pricing, where if somebody logs in from Florida, United States, they see a specific price. Somebody logs in from Berlin, Germany, they see a different price. Volume discounts is also another functionality. If you want to buy 20 items, your price is $20, but if you want to buy 100 of them, your price might be $18. So volume discounts are essential for any business that sells parts. That could be automotive, machinery, or that could be bike parts. And if you sell any kind of custom product where you want your B2B buyer to be able to configure something, we've built very advanced product configurators where you can literally configure an ordering process with 12 to 20 different sub-variations that are all conditional. And for industrial B2B, that's extremely important because the products are getting more and more complex. So the ordering process should get more and more simplified. And finally, if you're dealing with any kind of government purchases or any kind of dealers or distributors, dedicated portals with permissions and dashboards and different types of purchasing managers is key. For example, we had a client that sold t-shirts to schools and educational institutions, and the different buyers at different schools, different colleges had different limits in terms of how much they could purchase for that school. And all of that was tracked and managed on these portals. And the purchasing managers had specific limits, and the system would track those limits for them. So you could have these features as complex as you want, but the buying process cannot be complex for your B2B buyer. That is the rule. Let's talk about numbers, because this is not just about a slick interface that looks cool. It's about hard cost savings and operational leverage. I see B2B companies with 15, 20 sales reps that each cost $70,000 to $90,000 of annual salaries. They spend their days manually chasing quotes, following up on people, inefficiently sending those quotes, and not following up on the orders that should close with no confidence levels, with no type of tracking or activity management. That's $1 million annually in payroll to keep a broken system from falling apart. When we implement things like smart quoting, conditional checkout, reorder processes, we are not just replacing those salespeople, we are repurposing them. Now they don't have to do all these bullshit tasks, so they can focus on high strategic accounts. Instead of babysitting admin work, what they do is they build powerful relationships. And then there is this hidden bleed of manual order entries. I've seen 5% error margins with these manual ordering, and if you are selling $1 million a month, that's literally $50,000 just disappearing from your revenue. Bad SKUs, wrong discounts, missed freight timelines, undercharged or overcharged shipping rates, all of this money adds up. With automation and a CRM integration, we can cut that rate to below 0.5%. And if you are a business doing $100 million, 2, 3, 4, 5% additional revenue, additional bottom line makes a huge difference. And I have not even gotten into the advanced stuff like, price testing algorithms, AI search and filter functionalities, conditional checkout options and conditional upsells like post-checkout upsells. There is so much that can be done because you're playing with big numbers. If I can move the needle 1%, 2%, that could mean millions of dollars for you in the next 3 to 5 years. Complaints will disappear, your team will take a breath. And when you speed up the quote to cash cycle, and when you minimize that sales cycle that is usually from a couple of weeks to a couple of months for B2B purchasing operations, you see that cash come in faster, you see that sale close faster, and you keep that cash for a longer amount of time because that's your profit. You're not just saving time, you're accelerating revenue. And we all know in B2B businesses that future value is essential to our businesses. Same headcount, same product, just a more optimized infrastructure that allows you to make more profits and scale. Reducing errors on your B2B site from 5% to 0.5% changes everything. Are you ready for that? Now, no platform out of the box is going to solve all of your B2B problems. You are not going to plug in Shopify or BigCommerce and magically get tiered pricing and all of these conditional options out of the box on your website and in the hands of people that use them in your organization. But when it comes to building real functionality that lives inside your infrastructure, some platforms are definitely better than others. We lean on BigCommerce B2B edition for specific type of B2B businesses because it already comes with the infrastructure that's laid out, where B2B businesses can thrive on certain functionalities. You still have to customize things, but it's good enough for the average business that does, let's say, less than $10 million. The reason for that is because it's built for integration. You might be using Microsoft Dynamics, you might be using SAP or NetSuite. It will integrate with most systems like that as long as you can really define your product and your order workflows. For mid-market operators that do above 10, 15, 20, 30, $50 million, up to $100 million, Shopify Plus is a killer move. It's lightning fast, it's easy to manage, it has a very robust app ecosystem where you can literally wave the magic wand and get a functionality, but of course you have to make sure that you don't install 100 apps and really overcomplicate the system. You basically are getting about, let's say, 75-80% of what you need out of the box with these two platforms. And with the right dev team or dev partner, you can build the rest of the custom functionalities that you require for the types of products that you sell. Now, if you're in that legacy over 100 million, close to half a billion, even 1 billion range, then you are going to need something, or you might need something more enterprise. Now, don't get me wrong. We have clients and we have worked with companies that do 200, 300, 400 million dollars on Shopify Plus and on BigCommerce. But if you are focusing on specifically B2B, you are going to need a headless infrastructure, possibly with a CMS system that might be more robust based on your operational scalability options. BigCommerce and Shopify can manage those, but we see a lot of businesses that are on Adobe Commerce Cloud, Salesforce Commerce Cloud, because you're talking more about like multi-language, multi-currency, 20 different warehouses. You might need something more custom for that kind of an infrastructure. And the reason for that is when your tech stack is very efficient and dynamic and it talks, your business will fly. There's no plug and play here. Real B2B requires real integration. Your tech stack should be your greatest weapon, not your biggest bottleneck. Let's be honest, you are not going to beat Amazon or Uline or Grainger on speed, logistics, and efficiency. These businesses have already won the game. But here's the good news. You don't really have to beat them. Amazon cannot really handle the complexities that define B2B. And even though Uline and Grainger can handle these complexities, they might not be able to do it in the specific niche or the product category that you dominate. Remember, the biggest weapon that smaller businesses have against the giants is their ability to move and adapt faster. So what you should do then is adapt. Start with these 3 fast win automations. First, implement tiered pricing logic. Make sure that you give your B2B buyers discounted rates. Couple that with volume discounts if you sell any kind of parts. And trust me, your buyers will thank you for it because they don't have to chase these discounts or chase these payment terms or conditional checkout options. Every time your buyer logs in, they see the right price for them. Second is turn on the reorder functionality and the multi-add to cart functionality, because if your buyers are purchasing multiple items and multiple parts and multiple B2B components, then you want them to be able to spend as little time as possible ordering that item. It's like, I've given this example before, it's like if you're a bartender, what you want to do is you want to get your customer that first drink as fast as possible, and you want them to drink as fast as possible, because the more time they spend at your bar, it means that they're spending more money. And remember, 15% of whatever they're spending is your tip. It is the same exact formula on an e-commerce website. And third, enable the quote to cash function with conditional logic. What that means is if they add certain amount of items or above a certain dollar amount on their cart, turn on that quote functionality, have them download that quote efficiently, push that to the CRM, have your salesperson automatically call them because it's integrated with your CRM, whether that CRM is Zoho or Salesforce. You're basically making the process efficient. And if you have physical locations, they can come into the store with that quote and they have a price they might buy the next day or they might buy 3 months from now. You're basically giving them that peace of mind that their price is set. These functionalities are not flashy, but they're high impact for conversions and efficiency. Your moat is in specificity. Are you building fast enough to defend that? If anything that I said in this video hit a specific nerve, maybe it's the custom quoting functionality, maybe the tiered pricing, maybe the pre and post checkout upsells, maybe it's the advanced AI search and filters that I mentioned, it might be time for a functionality audit. Because here's the truth, every day that you wait to implement these functionalities, your margin will bleed and your competitors below you will slowly catch up, and the competitors above you are basically just opening up that gap. How are you ever going to compete with giants like Amazon, Uline, and Grainger? Off-the-shelf plugins and outdated systems that promise the world are not going to fix your problems. You cannot buy this technology stack, that infrastructure cheap anymore. $30, $50, $100 monthly apps are not going to help you catch up to the billion-dollar organizations. You know this. We can build that great blueprint together. If you have any questions about any of the B2B functionalities or this infrastructure that I've laid out, please contact us and we'll be happy to guide you in the right direction. I'll speak to you next week.